Hey everyone, welcome back for my fourth episode about the conscious mind. Now, what is the conscious mind? The conscious mind is something we have to think about in order for us to accomplish our goals. Now, in order to develop a proper amount of skills, we need to be consciously thinking about what we are doing and break it down piece by piece. Now, if working on a specific part of your game, such as in golf when you're working on your putting, you want to have a tool and you want to be properly going back and forth on your putting stroke and feel that correct piece by piece on that mental system you have. So you want to be going back and forth smoothly as possible and in the correct motion. And that is you're thinking about that throughout your practice and making sure you're on that correct plane and that correct path and that correct tempo. And you want to make sure that all this is correct because it is creating good mental memory and nerve memory in your mind, and that is through consciously thinking about it. What is great about the conscious mind is that you can use it to break bad habits, and that is why we break things down piece by piece. When we're working on our games, we are trying our best to break it down piece by piece, right? So let's say I'm working on my jump shot, and I want to make sure I'm feeling that follow through go straight up, and then you follow through at the end, making sure your elbow is fully extended. And you want to be working on that piece by piece and making sure you're correctly doing it compared to having your elbow fly out and then shooting out to the right. Okay? And you want to make sure you have that correctly in order. So, how do we practice? In the conscious mind, you want to be thinking about what you're doing. So, in putting, you want to be thinking about your distance, how far you're hitting your ball, and as well as in when you're playing basketball, you want to be making sure on your free throws you want to be having the correct shot, correct height of the ball. When throwing a football, you want to make sure you have that correct spin. You want to make sure you're throwing that perfect little spiral. You like to throw that tight spiral. You want to make sure it's at a certain elevation to a point where it's going to hit your teammate right in the hands, right where he's has his hands up, so you can hit him right there in that target. And it's very important that you make sure you focus on one piece at a time, that you're not focused on several pieces at several different times. If you try to catch a ball, and when someone throws a ball at you, you can catch it. You can catch one ball. Someone throws you two balls, you might be able to catch two. But if somebody tries to throw you three or four, you're not going to catch them all. So you want to be able to focus on 1 to 2 things at a time when you're working really hard and really focused on a specific part of your game. So let's say you're working on your shot. You want to focus on that elbow and make sure that elbow is straight. When you want to focus on throwing, you want to make sure that spiral's tight. And certain things like that. You want to make sure everything's specific and you have a specific goal for that day in order for you to have a very productive day. You want to make sure that follow through is correct. You want to make sure the backswing on the golf swing is correct. You want to make sure everything is precise and you are working on something specific for that day. And if you're working on something specific, I guarantee you'll see improvement in the conscious and your physical and mental aspect. Now, when you're driving for the first time somewhere new and you don't know where you're going, you're very observant of your surroundings. You're looking around, making sure you're obeying the rules of the road. You're going the speed limit. You're looking around. You're going a little extra slow so you don't make a wrong turn. You make sure you're correct and going in the right direction. Well, that's how you want to take the conscious mind. You want to make sure you're going in the right path when you're doing something. And by doing this, you'll be able to be more productive when you're getting ready to perform in a game or in a tournament. Now, when you're in a game or in a tournament, you're not supposed to think about this stuff. This stuff is specifically for practice. Thinking consciously is only in your practice sessions. Never when you're playing a game. When you're playing in a game, you want to be thinking subconsciously, without thought. Let it happen naturally. And that's what we're going to talk about next week, the subconscious mind. Hope you all tune in next week.